Stress management. The following sections will look at the signs and symptoms of stress. Head and mental health. Heart, lungs and circulation. Skin. Metabolism. Muscle and joints. Digestive system and gut. Reproductive and growth. And the immune system. Head and mental health. Short-term issues include anxious, changed moods, negative thoughts, more emotional, and disturbed sleep patterns. And long-term issues can include anxiety and depression. Heart, lungs, and circulation. Short-term issues include change in heart rate, increased blood pressure, and palpitations. Long-term issues can include hypertension and heart disease. Skin. The short-term effects: sweating, reddening, and blushing. The long-term effects can include eczema and psoriasis. Metabolism. The short-term effects include mobilization of energy sources, increased cholesterol in blood, and increased glucose availability. The long-term effects include inefficient energy use, increased fat deposition, insulin resistance, and metabolic syndrome. Muscles and joints. The short-term issues include increased blood flow to muscles and muscle tension. The long-term issues can include loss of muscle function and structure, stiffness, soreness, regional pain syndromes, and osteoporosis. Digestive system and gut. The short-term issues include butterflies in stomach, dry mouth, suppression of digestion, and nausea. Long-term issues can include appetite suppression, impaired capacity to repair ulcers, chronic dysfunction of the gut such as irritable bowel syndrome. Reproduction and growth. The short-term issues can include suppression of reproductive and growth systems. Long-term issues can include reproductive abnormalities, decreased testosterone, and erectile dysfunction, and also loss of libido. Immune system. The short-term effects can include enhancement of specific immune responses, for example, to deal with wounding. And the long-term effects can be eventual immune suppression and also increased susceptibility to some infectious diseases. The management standards. What are the management standards? The management standards define the characteristics, or culture, of an organization where the risks from work-related stress are being effectively managed and controlled. The management standards cover 6 key areas that, if not properly managed, are associated with poor health and well-being, lower productivity, and increased sickness absence. The management standards represent a set of conditions that, if present, reflect a high level of health, well-being, and organizational performance. The management standards include the following: demonstrate good practice through a step-by-step risk assessment approach. Allow assessment of the current situation using surveys and other techniques. Promote active discussion and working in partnership with employees to help decide on practical improvements that can be made. Help simplify risk assessment for work-related stress by identifying the main risk factors for work-related stress. Helping employers focus on the underlying causes and their prevention, and providing a yardstick by which organizations can gauge their performance in tackling the key causes of stress. There are 6 factors that can lead to work-related stress if they are not managed properly. These are control, demands, relationships, change, role, and support. Control. Management standard: how much say the person has in the way they do their work. The standard is that employees indicate that they have a say about the way they do their work, and systems are in place to respond to individual concerns. What should be happening? If possible, employees control the pace of work. Employees encouraged to use their skills and initiative to do their work. Where possible, employees are encouraged to develop new skills to help them undertake new and challenging pieces of work. And also, employees have a say over when breaks can be taken and are consulted over their work patterns. Demands. Management standard includes issues such as workload, work patterns, and the work environment. The standard is that employees indicate that they are able to cope with the demands of their jobs and systems are in place locally to respond to any individual concerns. What should be happening? Employees provided with achievable demands in relation to the hours of work. People's skills and abilities are matched to the job demands. And also, employees' concerns about their work environment are addressed. Relationships. Management standard includes promoting positive working to avoid conflict and dealing with unacceptable behavior. The standard is that employees indicate that they are not subjected to unacceptable behavior, for example, bullying, and systems are in place to deal with any concerns. What should be happening? Promote positive behaviors at work to avoid conflict and ensure fairness. Employees share information. Agree policies and procedures to prevent or resolve unacceptable behavior. Systems are in place to enable managers to deal with unacceptable behavior. And also, systems are in place to enable employees to report unacceptable behavior. Change. Management standards, how organizational change is managed and communicated in the organization. The standard is that employees indicate the organization engages them when undergoing change and systems are in place to respond to any concerns. What should be happening? Provide employees with timely information to enable them to understand the reason for proposed changes. Ensure adequate employee consultation on changes and provide opportunities for employees to influence proposals. And also, employees are aware of the probable impact of any changes to their jobs. If necessary, employees are given training to support any changes in their jobs. Role. Management standard, whether people understand their role at work and whether the organization ensures that the person does not have conflicting roles. The standard is that employees indicate that they understand their role and responsibilities, and systems are in place to respond to any individual concerns. What should be happening? The organization ensures that, as far as possible, the different requirements it places upon employees are compatible. The organization provides information to enable employees to understand their role and responsibilities. And also, systems are in place to enable employees to raise concerns about any uncertainties they have in their role and responsibilities. Support. Management standard includes the encouragement, sponsorship, and resources provided by the organization, line management, and colleagues. The standard is that employees indicate that they receive adequate information and support from their colleagues and superiors, and systems are in place to respond to any individual concerns. What should be happening? Systems are in place to enable managers to support their staff. Systems are in place to enable employees to support their colleagues. Employees know what support is available and how and when to access it. And also, employees know how to access the required resources to do their job. Why should you take action? There are many good reasons for tackling stress in the workplace, and everyone has a part to play at every level of the organization. The economic benefits include lower risks of litigation because they comply with legal duties, improved return on investment in training and development, improved customer care and relationships with clients and suppliers, and reduced costs of sick pay, sickness cover, overtime and recruitment. The following benefits for individuals. People feel more motivated and committed to their work. Morale is high. People work harder and perform better. People feel that they are part of a team and the decision-making process, so accept change better. Relationships with managers and within teams are better. People are happy in their work and don't want to leave. Line managers can outwardly show their duty of care. And line managers can demonstrate good management skills that could help career development and progression. Management benefits include the following: reduced staff turnover, improving retention, better absence management, fewer days lost to sickness and absenteeism, fewer accidents, improved work quality, improved organizational image and reputation, and also better staff understanding and tolerance of others experiencing problems. The legal requirements. At board level, directors need to consider how they will achieve the following: monitor factors that might suggest there is a problem with stress-related illness in the business, for example, high rates of absenteeism, staff turnover, poor performance, conflict between staff. Ensure there is a health and safety policy that addresses the issue of stress in the workplace, including a stress management strategy if appropriate. Ensure effective risk assessments have been carried out, are monitored regularly, and any recommendations are being implemented and adequately funded. And plan for stress-related risks when embarking on significant organizational change. HR and health and safety managers have an important role in reducing work-related stress, and may wish to consider how they will do the following: keep up to date with best practice relating to work-related stress. Conduct and review risk assessments. Find out about issues that may indicate that risk assessments need reviewing, such as evidence of an employee suffering stress or larger management changes to the business. Inform employees about stress-related illnesses and their obligations. Feedback concerns about risks to health from stress at all levels. Examine stress as a possible factor in relation to absenteeism. Determine whether the employee may have a disability within the meaning of the Disability Discrimination Act. If so, consider whether the employee is being treated less favorably for a reason related to the disability, and whether reasonable changes could be made. Report their concerns to appropriate senior personnel while maintaining any obligations of confidentiality. Line managers. From a line manager's perspective, legal responsibility rests with the employer, who is responsible not only for action or lack of action at board level but also for all those employed by them. Line managers have an important role in assisting employers to address work-related stress, and in doing so, reduce work-related stress. Examples of issues where line managers may wish to consider include: whether stress may be a factor in relation to frequent or long-term absenteeism for individual employees, how they will monitor and address potential sources of stress, identify what medical and other evidence is required to determine whether the employee may have a disability within the meaning of the Disability Discrimination Act. If so, consider whether the employee is being treated less favorably for a reason related to the disability and whether there are reasonable adjustments that could be made. Report their concerns to appropriate senior personnel while maintaining any obligations of confidentiality. Employees also have a duty to take reasonable care for their own health and safety and of others who may be affected by their actions. Employees should inform their employer if they feel the pressure of the job is putting them or anyone else at risk of ill health. Suggest ways in which the work might be organized to alleviate the stress. Inform their employer if they are suffering from a medical condition that appears to be long-term and is affecting their ability to carry out day-to-day tasks, including memory and learning. And also, discuss any reasonable adjustments that could be made to assist them in performing their job. What is a corporate social responsibility? The Business Council for Sustainable Development defines corporate social responsibility as the continuing commitment by business to behave ethically and contribute to economic development while improving the quality of life of the workforce and their families as well as of the local community and society at large. What does it involve? Some of the common activities undertaken as part of CSR include consideration of issues such as business ethics, animal welfare, diversity and equal opportunities, community investment and environment, including reducing energy, water, and waste. Giving aid to local organizations and communities in developing countries. Helping to build the skills of the local people through community-based development. Supporting staff fundraising activities or payroll giving. And also, offering staff volunteering opportunities, therefore raising awareness and providing learning and development activities. Benefit of a corporate social responsibility. Undertaking corporate social responsibility activities can help your organization to achieve the following: build sales, develop the workforce, boost innovation and enthusiasm, enhance trust, attract and retain staff, and also increase reputation. How CSR relates to stress. CSR takes into account the interests of employees and their health and safety. This includes the effects of work on the development of work-related stress. Effective management of health and safety is vital to employee well-being. Employers should ensure that as part of their CSR they consider the health and safety of their employees, including work-related stress. This may include, for example, using stress management programs. Who is responsible for tackling work-related stress in the organization? Board directors and CEOs. It is important that individuals across the organization see that their directors and managers believe in this issue, as without their commitment, it is unlikely that measures to tackle this problem will be effective. The directors' and managers' roles and responsibilities include the following: to understand what work-related stress is, what causes it and how it can be prevented and managed. To champion action to tackle work-related stress, for example, signing communications, attending seminars, etc. To lead by example, for example, demonstrating a commitment to work-life balance initiatives by not working excessive hours. To provide commitment to tackling this issue, including providing necessary resources to undertake the management standards or equivalent process and to implement solutions identified. To support human resources managers and health and safety managers in taking action to prevent and manage stress. Health and safety managers are central to processes to prevent and manage stress. They are key to ensuring that the risk of work-related stress is properly identified and managed. They will need to work with their HR department in tackling this issue. Depending on how the organization divides responsibilities, different tasks may be more the health and safety manager's responsibility or the HR manager's responsibility. Health and safety managers' roles and responsibilities include the following: to understand what work-related stress is, what causes it and how it can be prevented and managed. To engage and communicate with staff about this issue, and raise awareness, this may include working with trade unions. To undertake the management standards or equivalent approach to identify the hazards and extent of stress in your organization and what solutions you are going to implement to improve the situation. To work with others, including your HR department, in implementing solutions identified by staff. To monitor and review solutions in your procedures. To ensure you collect evidence of your risk assessment for work-related stress to show inspectors. To support line managers in preventing and managing individuals with work-related stress. To work with others providing services to support individuals, for example, occupational health services, to identify sources of problems that need action and to manage successful return to work. To identify additional policies and initiatives that may promote health and well-being. Human resources managers are central to processes to prevent and manage stress. They are key to ensuring that policies and procedures are developed and implemented. They need to work with the health and safety department in tackling stress, and, depending on how the organization divides responsibilities, different tasks may be the HR manager's responsibility or the health and safety manager's responsibility. HR managers' roles and responsibilities can include: to understand what work-related stress is, what causes it and how it be prevented and managed. To develop suitable policies to tackle this issue in your organization. To engage and communicate with staff about this issue and raise awareness, this may include working with trade unions. To undertake the management standards or equivalent approach to identify the extent of stress in your organization and what solutions you are going to implement to improve the situation. To work with others, including your health and safety department, in implementing solutions identified by staff. To monitor and review solutions, and your policies and procedures. To support line managers in preventing and managing individuals experiencing stress, including helping them return to work. To work with others providing services to support individuals, for example, occupational health services to identify sources of problems that need action and to manage successful return to work. And also, to identify additional policies and initiatives that may promote health and well-being. Line managers are crucial to the successful prevention and management of work-related stress within their team. They tend to be the first port of call when there is a problem, and they are in an ideal position to be able to identify and manage stress. But the way they behave can also be part of the problem. If a manager has the appropriate skills, they are better able to deal with stress within the team. Line managers' roles and responsibilities include the following. To understand what work-related stress is, what causes it and how it can be prevented and managed. To engage and communicate with staff about stress and raise awareness. To be aware of your organization's policies and procedures on this issue. To support and get involved in organizational initiatives to tackle stress, for example, encouraging staff to complete questionnaires, attend focus groups or suggest solutions. To understand your role in preventing and managing work-related stress, and that you can sometimes cause or exacerbate it. To be aware of your competencies in managing and prevention, and how this can impact on staff, as well as taking action to improve competencies. To identify potential causes of stress before they become a problem. To identify work-related stress in your team members early and work with the individual and human resources in resolving the problem. To support staff to prevent work-related stress and to help them manage it once it occurs, including providing access to relevant support services. To identify and implement solutions that will prevent work-related stress. To help staff return successfully to work after work-related stress. Employees have a responsibility to raise concerns and tell their manager or representative about possible problems and sources of stress. If the organization is not aware of a problem, it can be difficult for action to be taken. Employees' roles and responsibilities include the following. To understand what work-related stress is, what causes it and how it can be prevented and managed. To raise awareness about this issue with your colleagues and prevent stigma. This includes taking the issue seriously. To be aware of your organization's policies and procedures on this issue. To identify potential causes of stress for yourself or your colleagues before they become a problem and to raise them with your line manager or other suitable individuals. This may include sources of stress outside of work where appropriate. To identify early when you or your colleagues are beginning to experience excessive pressure that may lead to work-related stress and raise this with your line manager or HR so they can help in resolving the problem. To work with your manager or HR department in tackling the issue, for example, identifying solutions you think may help. To support and get involved in organizational initiatives to tackle this issue, for example, completing questionnaires, attending focus groups or suggesting solutions. To be supportive of colleagues experiencing work-related stress. To work with your line manager or HR department in identifying solutions to help you return to work effectively and quickly. Trade unions are key to ensuring that an organization engages with staff over stress and uses staff suggestions in developing its solutions. Trade union representatives may be the first port of call for staff experiencing problems, particularly if the line management chain is part of the problem. Trade union representatives' roles and responsibilities include the following. To understand what work-related stress is, what causes it and how it can be prevented and managed. To encourage your organization to tackle stress and gain commitment to it. To engage and communicate with staff about this issue and raise awareness. To work with your organization in developing an approach, policies, and procedures to tackle it, for example, supporting the organization to undertake the management standards, or equivalent approach to identify problem areas and solutions. To work with others, including your HR and health and safety department, in implementing solutions identified by staff. To monitor and review solutions in your procedures. To encourage staff to identify and address sources of stress early and to work with their line manager, your representative, or other relevant individuals in doing this. To provide support to individuals experiencing work-related stress, help them talk to their line manager about the problem, and direct them to suitable services to help them tackle this issue, for example, occupational health services. And also to work with the organization in identifying additional policies and initiatives that may promote health and well-being. Occupational health providers have a particular role in working with individuals who are experiencing work-related stress, and helping them remain at work, or return to work successfully. However, they also have a role in supporting the organization by providing access to information, to help identify particular problems or trends that may need to be addressed. Occupational health providers' roles and responsibilities include the following. To understand what work-related stress is, what causes it and how it can be prevented and managed. To provide support to individuals experiencing work-related stress, for example, help them talk to their line manager, identify and advise on possible solutions and direct them to suitable additional services. To help individuals return to work successfully by advising on return to work strategies. To support the organization in preventing work-related stress by providing anonymous reports with information about trends and sources of stress they can use to identify solutions. To work with the organization in identifying additional policies and initiatives that may promote health and well-being. This presentation is available to purchase in PDF or video format. For information on purchasing this, or any other presentation, or the development of a bespoke presentation, visit elements-webdesign.co.uk.